Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving School.
Hello and welcome to Over the Town. I'm Dave, and here's what's coming up today. First Sunday fixture in the Premier League, lads, and it ends in defeat at Villa Park as Aston Villa continue their brilliant run of form and end up taking all 3 points with a 3-1 result, and I really think somewhat one-sided game, if I might say that. We're also going to talk about Gabe Osho coming back into the team. We've got your 3-word reviews, much more. And as always, I've got Bataro. I had to think about it then. I've got Bataro and Steve with me. How are you going, guys?
Yeah, lovely. Thanks,
hello,
mate. Yeah, good to see you.
Dave and Steve. Yeah, hello,
Yes,
Dave and Steve. You all right, mate? How you doing? You okay?
He's mocking you, Dave.
That's all right. I don't mind
It's
a
been
bit.
a long day for you, isn't it, sir?
The weekend, we went to Villa Park and, you know, it's a great stadium. I think the fans are very quiet, if I must say. From where I was sitting, I couldn't really hear them. But they might have made a noise, but they're on a good vein of form. Could we have expected anything different from the weekend, do you think?
Well, I don't know, really. I don't want to answer this one, Steve. Can you answer this? I don't really know what to say about it.
With regards to the result, maybe not. But how things panned out, yeah, I think we could have expected something a bit different.
Just a point of order, though. If you're going again, don't park in any of the car parks near Villa Park. It took me so long to get out of the bloody thing.
Was it as bad as Everton away?
Oh, I think it was better than Everton away. But if you mean longer, yes.
Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah, it was terrible. But there you go. I just think, let's just get straight into it. Let's talk about your 3-word reviews on Aston Villa 3, Luton Town 1. You got Mike, not season defining. Sarah, could have been worse. Clive, didn't expect much. Richard says that injuries are costing us. Harry, Kaminsky's double save. Sean, way too passive. Chris, Townsend improves us. And Nick, a golf in quality. He didn't have the little A in there. I have to clarify, just making it up now. 4 words that was. Leah said subs needed earlier. And Johnny, onwards and upwards. Anything take your fancy, Steve?
Way too passive for me. Unfortunately, it was the first time all season I was absolutely bored. I understand the fear about Villa with their pace and stuff like that, but the amount of times where they had the ball and Luton player was just standing off them, there was no attempts for any press or intensity. Way too passive, sums it up perfectly. Now, as I say, people saying, oh, but they can do this, this and this. Equally, if you stand off them and give them all the time in the world, they can pick whatever pass they want, which they did. You know, Mengi got done 2 or 3 times with one over the top, and it was all because, we posed no problems and no threat to them. I'm not saying the result would have been any different, but you surely try and have some sort of influence on proceedings, and to me, we didn't. And it was the first time I was bored at the weekend. If
I'm honest, like I said, unfortunately I didn't get to go on since Sunday, so I had to watch it, through a link and whatever else. But I agree, it was I was disinterested after about 5 minutes, personally. I even went out to get my boy to sleep. That says it all.
Wow. Well, yeah. I'm going to say the first 7 minutes for me felt like...
I missed the first 8 minutes... because there was some bloody massive roundabout, not the magic roundabout. There was a huge roundabout right by Villa Park, and basically took me 25 minutes to get round it. So I got in 8 minutes in. So tell me about the first 7 minutes.
But all I was going to say, the first 7 minutes to me felt like we've been playing for 25, 30 minutes. I couldn't believe it was only 7 minutes. And I have to say, this is the first time I've been watching Luton in the Premier League. It's the first time I've been watching them and thinking, we are way off the mark here. Brighton away, Chelsea away. I wasn't thinking too much. We didn't do too bad. Nottingham Forest, I think we did okay there. But this one, I just felt that we was not in the game.
Just
And,
felt
and
it was
it's,
respected
it's
as well.
the first time I felt, and I don't want to say we're out of our depth, but it just felt like we were. That's how I felt.
So on that basis, though, surely we should have tried something. Just standing off them was giving them all the time. We weren't doing anything about it.
If you'd have listened to Rob Edwards, I don't, maybe you did.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
post match, he said he set it up for that way for the reasons of stopping them really, and at times they did, but it was just relentless pressure, and it was a bit frustrating. But if you could understand the match plan from Rob Edwards, from what he said post match. And then you went back and looked at it, you go, well, I can see they stayed to the match plan. But firstly, you're not great to watch, frustrating to watch, because actually when, and we will get into this, but when we did put a bit of pressure on them, it was a different game.
Yeah, I can say, surely at some stage there's a level of we want to impose something on them. And surely we weren't going to leave it to the last. I mean, the last 10 was much better. However, they'd done their job and they backed off.
Well, but getting in at 1-0 was a bit of a triumph, given the fact how they played. And then you thought we'd regroup. But, for me, it's genuinely the first time I thought, well, we're way off pace here, we're way off class here.
I mean,
and if Villa had switched on a little bit quicker, we might have been looking at a massive result.
I think to be fair, I think in the first sort of like 15 to 20, maybe 17 minutes, we could have been 3-0 down, at least 3-0 down. And I mean, I know we said this against obviously Tottenham and whoever else,
Everton. We could have said that several times, haven't we?
That's it, ride the storm and whatever else, and see it through, get over it. I get that that's a thing that we're doing, I get that, but in this case, this was more. They look more dangerous. Villa. They're a better team than all the team. For me, maybe not Tottenham. And off the top of my head, I can't think who else. But this is a team banging form as well, especially at home as well. I think they scored something like 35 goals or something like that in 12 games.
They haven't lost in 14 games at home.
That's insane. Yeah.
And the lowest score, the lowest score they've got is 3.
It's 3. Yeah.
And that's an amazing. That's a team on the up, isn't it?
Brighton.
So look, let's not say that we were very poor. Let's say that Aston Villa were very good, and they did, and they played the game well. I think our tactically, we're all going to have different opinions, and we're going to talk about it in a second.
Yeah, of
but we've got to realise that they are a team with a lot of upward motion in where they're going and where they've been, and what they're going to do, and their manager is getting it right, isn't he? Ollie Watkins is on fire. The team themselves, they just seem everyone seems
like you said there, Dave. The word team. They are a team. They work so hard together for there's no what's the word? For me, I don't see no egos in Villa's team or anything like that. I just think they're a team. They know what they're doing. They're well drilled, and they know their class. They know what their worth is as well. This is the thing. They're very confident. Yeah, it's difficult going into it, and we lose 3-1. But at the end of the day, West Ham, I think, lost 4-1 last weekend. Yeah. Brighton lost 6-1 about 3-4 weeks ago. So you look at it that way, it's not all doom and gloom. So, but I know we sound a little bit down in the dumps at the moment. But let's try and raise the energy, gentlemen. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not down about the score. I'm down about how we approached it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to bear in mind that, tactical situations do come up. But let's go into the game. Villa 3, Luton Town 1. Now, 3 changes from when we played Nottingham Forest. Kabore, Barkley and Osho for Burke, Pelly and Chong. Although you missed the first 7 minutes, Steve, it was absolutely full on. Like you said, we started very, very slow. Or Villa had all the possession. They had all the time in the world to pick out their passes. And my goodness, I just felt every time they went forward, they were going to score.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had to watch it. I didn't get to go, unfortunately. But like you say, I think, Steve, you touched on it when we opened this, obviously tonight. I think you said something along the lines of the way we just stood off and let them ping the ball, obviously, like going over the top and etc. and whatever else. But from what I was seeing, I was seeing the whole pitch. And obviously, like you say on the TV, you see a lot of things happening and whatever else. And it was very flat from us. It was almost like we stuck 9 behind the ball.
Right.
And we weren't picking up certain players. And they were so free. So every time the ball was picked up, say from a fullback, from Cash or whoever, or Dinya who was left back, they were picking a pass and there was no pressure on. Even the ball, when it's floating sort of like a 20, 30-yard ball to someone, by the time the ball had reached that player, our players were still within about 3 or 4 yards off them. And it was very frustrating. And I kept saying to myself, this is going to be a long afternoon if this continues. And we didn't come to grips with it. We didn't get a hold in the game. We just stood off. How many more times are you going to expect your goalkeeper to make a save, for example, or them to miss a sitter before you sit there and go,
this is not working.
Yeah, this is it.
Rob Edwards did say that the reason for standing off them was so that you didn't get drawn on and then get really cut open real quick. And he said, and I sort of agree with him in points.
Yeah, of course.
That it didn't really happen that often. So I suppose that tactic, Steve, was a little bit of a success, but you're a little bit disappointed with it.
Yeah, I can understand it, but you've got to try and inflict what we do onto the opposition. Say there was no press, there was no intensity. They had all the time in the world. They've got pace all over the side.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you've got someone that's got all the time in the world to make a pass, and someone makes a blistering run,
yep.
and their runs were really smart as well. For me, that's a recipe for disaster. And it was just the number of times where the Luton player was just, 5, 6, 7 yards off and motionless, watching, waiting for him to pick the pass that he wanted. You've got to do something. And for me, that wasn't the right thing. You've got to have some sort of influence in the game.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we did.
Even the commentary team said it on, obviously, while I was watching, they were like, well, if Luton continue to do this is going to be at least 4 or 5 goals. I said, it was like, there's no way that Luton are getting into this game, playing that system or playing the way they're playing, etc. And it was damaging for us. I think if we like I said, touch on what Rob Edwards saying on obviously what he said, fine, I get that. But after, say, 20, 30 minutes, when it's still happening, or even after 35 to 40 minutes, it was still happening.
It felt like it felt like it was the first time that we were looking for not getting hiding rather than looking to get something positive from the game. That's how it felt.
And the crazy thing is as well, I actually take it, I'm looking back on it and going, we lost 3-1. Should have been a lot more. But do you know what? I'll take that because it should have been a lot more. And that's to look at it that way, maybe it's a little bit, negative and whatever else, but
to be fair to us, let's be fair for a moment. Did anyone really go there with thinking we're going to win the game? Because,
no,
so for us, for me personally, a free hit on a game, I just make it so we don't.
I don't know about a free hit though, Dave. I'm not too sure about a free hit.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, if we lost, which we did, I would have expected that to happen. If we'd have got anything out of the game, that would have been a bonus. I sort of agree. I didn't enjoy the performance. I didn't enjoy being there watching the game. But I know we can do much better. But I think far too much respect for Aston Villa.
Oh, massively, yeah.
But also, you can't take it away from Aston Villa. They are a top team, and they're pushing for that 4th spot. That's where they want to be.
But they didn't have to work so desperately hard for that win, did they?
No, they didn't have to work hard for it. But that shows what quality they had. And there were times where I thought, and it's going to sound poor for me to say this about Luton because I love them, but for times it felt a bit like men against boys, and it was horrendous at times, and it was constant. And when we got possession, we didn't keep possession, and
that's the most frustrating thing I think is the fact that every time we got the ball, when you thought, okay, just hold it for a minute. I think at one point it was Barkley gets the ball and you just think hold the ball, mate, obviously make you out the pitch, and he goes and lumps it forward to absolutely nobody.
I would also add the difference there was that when we did get possession, they closed us down and they were really quick to us, and they really wanted the ball, and it's exactly how we normally play, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Something that I thought was really noticeable, the amount of times we passed the ball at the wrong time. Invariably it was to either Doughty or Ogbene down the wings. You could see it particularly second half when Luton were attacking our end. Ogbene down in front of us. The amount of times he was making a run and he was turning round again, Kabore a lot of the time, and he held the ball up too long. He seldom passed the ball at the right time. I thought Ross Barkley again held onto the ball too long on several occasions. Now, Ross Barkley is the sort of person that is going to be great if you've got you're blinding pace strikers that are running into channels. They're making blind runs, and he has the ability to pick them out.
Do you think it's also like someone has to be on his level as well to like pick that same wavelength?
Well, yeah. But I don't think that the strikers that we've got make those runs, which to me therefore makes Barkley a luxury player that can seldom produce the luxury items. Because one, I think he holds on to the ball too long. Two, I think he's too slow. Three, the people that he needs to make those runs aren't making them.
I take your point about Ogbedi actually, because there was a couple of times where, especially in the second half, where he was well onto it, and if to let him out earlier, he's down that wing, he's putting a decent cross in. So I'm not criticising Ogbedi there, but the
several
feed,
times,
the
wasn't
feed
it?
to him, and it was almost he stopped in his tracks because he didn't want to run offside.
Yeah, again, obviously saying about Ogbene, I thought he was our best player again, personally. He was the only one that, when we actually got the ball, I think maybe 3 or 4 times in the game. It's not a lot, I know, but obviously for the amount of times we had the ball and whatever, he was getting the ball, trying to knock past and go and whatever. Do you know what I mean? He was the only one trying to get forward and show any positivity, creativity, whatever else.
I thought Doughty tried endlessly, but again, when he's got that pace against him,
it's different.
When he got booked, it was just he pulled the guy down. He's, I'm not chasing you again, mate. He just pulled him down. So I think it was a desperately difficult day for him because the pace was wings and central. So
it was immense, wasn't it?
Under no illusions.
I'll tell you one player who had a great game. Was our goalkeeper, Kaminsky. He had a brilliant double save. It's really early, 11 minutes in. Ollie Watkins, he's prolific this season. He scores for fun. 2 close range saves from him. I would actually argue that Watkins was offside.
I saw the extended highlights tonight, and the commentator said that it was off.
But Kaminsky didn't know that.
No, the save had already been made before that was even a thought in anyone's mind. Brilliant saves, absolutely brilliant.
So we got that to cling to, and then it was just coming, wasn't it? That goal was coming. You could see it coming. There's just wave after wave after wave from Aston Villa, and they're in second gear, not any higher than that.
Didn't it come from a cross, from a free kick, was it?
Well, the free kick really annoyed me. It really annoyed me.
Roll through, no one within sort of.
It was a
10
silly
yards.
free kick to give away. They moved it well.
But again, because it was a pass straight across not straight across, but at an angle coming across the penalty area. But there was no one on the edge of the penalty area. So again, the guy had the time to take a touch. Then turned inside, and when he shot, there was like 2 or 3 Luton defenders sort of looking to close him down. But again, there was no one on the edge of the D or the penalty area, which I thought was a bit of a surprise.
The fact that John McGinn's got down his right foot and done that as well. I mean, we know he's a good player, but he's left-footed, got a great left foot. But the fact that he's scored, it's a very good finish, by the way. I'm not saying he's not got a right foot. But the fact that he's got that much time to take, I think he took a touch first, didn't he, as well?
On the edge of the penalty area. Yeah.
And then bang, straight across the keeper, goes in the bottom corner, and that's it. You think, game over. For me, it was game over.
Well, actually, I was just about to say, I think from that point on, Villa were just really cruising, and they didn't have to step up any further than they had. Having said that, we had a chance, and it was a big chance for me. I thought, we could have done better. Could we have done better? Ogbeni was just like inches away from that cross he did a fantastic run, crossed in, and Morris just couldn't get there.
Too close to the keeper, innit?
Yeah, no, it was a good effort. Is it a really positive run from Ogbene? It just didn't connect, did it?
I think he's one of our best players, and I worry that if we don't stay up, can we keep him? That's what I would say. And you think after all the angst that we had, and we get in at 1-0, you're thinking, okay, Rob, get this team shut up, really, really sort of ready for the second half, and let's get at them. Let's start well. And goodness me, we start off, and it's quite familiar, isn't it? Because we see that the other week we concede within a minute. I think it was a minute and a half,
something like that. Yeah.
It's just I don't even know how to describe the goal, to be honest with you. It was DRB.
Well, I think
he struck it well.
Yeah, McGinn was it? He had his sort of back out on the wing, and he sort of just passed it to someone who overlapped. It was a half decent cross. We got beaten at the far post. Whether it was lucky or not, but it did just fall to the guy who was running in, and
he struck it well.
That's right. Whereas the same thing happened at Forest, but the guy screwed it wide.
Exactly.
He put it away.
It's not the time when you want to put it. And at that point you go, right, okay, this is done. Let's keep the score down. And, you know, did we really expect anything more? You know, Tom Lockyer's own goal, it was just unfortunate.
Yeah, of course.
He's having a good game, fairly good game, and he just tried to pull it away, and it goes in.
It's just the fact that it was too close to him, wasn't it? It was, I think, by the time the ball was even hit Lockyer, I think he was about 3 yards from goal, wasn't he? So,
Yeah.
I mean, where else he meant to put that, really? It's a reaction, it's gone in. I mean, yeah, but like I say, it's...
There's nothing you can do in
exposing
those
it. No.
situations. He's running towards the goal. You know, if he hadn't have got something on it,
Someone would,
then
yeah.
one of their strikers would have done. So, you know, yeah, there's no blame at all.
I think that just summed up the game, though, didn't it, when that happened? I think it just summed it up for you. That's it. You're not going to get anything from this game, but then...
Well, I would say after that, though, the 3-0 goes on, and you just think, come on, just keep it at 3. Don't, you know, we haven't had many shots on goal. We haven't had anything to cheer about. I think in the post-match, Rob Edwards said that the Luton fans had some banter chants or some funny chants, and I think one of them is, we've got the ball.
Yeah.
We've lost the ball.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We've got the ball, which I thought was funny, but, you know, I just want to be behind the team, and I don't know if that helps them.
I don't think it was mocking.
No, I don't think it was mocking, but it was just funny.
Is it gallows humour? Is that what they call it? You know,
Yeah.
when things are against you. So, you know.
And, you know, Villa had several chances more to score. And then guess what? We go and get one. And I'm just thinking...
Yeah,
brilliant.
Villa had more chances to score, and then they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. World Cup winning goalkeeper as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But the cross was good. I don't even know what... He was just trying to nod it back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The defender?
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Ali Bayo originally? He headed up in the air or something like that? Yeah.
And then he's trying to head it back, and it hits the crossbar and comes off the keeper. And he's thinking to yourself, well, 3-1. And then suddenly we were a different team. And you're thinking to yourself now, why didn't we play like this for the first 80 minutes?
Yeah.
And then I've felt, do you know what? We might even get back in this.
And we could have done as well. I think, was it a couple of minutes later? I think was it a free header from someone?
I know Elijah had a chance, but when the ball went out of play, linesman put his flag up at that point. But yeah, I wouldn't say we were causing them problems, but
I felt we had another opportunity to score, and it was close, and we didn't do that.
It was a free hit. It was a header, wasn't it?
It was a header,
It was a header,
and then Elijah blocked it. It went out. I thought we were going to get a corner.
Right, yes. Yep.
Thought we was going to get a corner, and then the referee just went game over.
Yeah.
Just a word for the linesman on our side. I didn't think he was that great. However,
No.
I know.
Same every week, though, gentlemen, isn't it?
Well, no, look. There was no VAR decisions, were there?
Not though.
No, but I didn't think. I think the linesman in the first half, he was on our half the same. The first half, for me, there was quite a lot of offsides he missed. In the second half, every time this is the first time, I think, for a long time that we've had offsides. We've had 6 on Sunday. The previous few games, 0.
Did we have an offside within like 3 or 4 minutes as well in the first half?
Ridiculous. Look, I think we've got to look at it for what it was. You know, we
of course.
genuinely went there, and no one expected us to win. Even our own fans, I don't think, expected us. Wanted us to win. We wanted to get something out of it, but you've got to be
I
realistic.
think we just wanted a bit better performance, though. That's what we wanted, I think.
Performance-wise, I think it's our worst one.
But no, I would agree. But what I'm saying is, this is not a dig, by the way. This is not us, getting the arse and saying, we're shite. This is nothing like that. So whoever's listening, and if people do think we're doing that, it's nothing like that. We're just saying we know we can do better. I know it sounds. I think I say the same thing pretty much every time we lose or we lose comfortably, should I say? I say the same thing every time. We could do so much better. We know we can. That's the thing. That's the difference.
What disappoints me is that we didn't come away from that game thinking, well, we gave it a go.
No, that's right.
All the other games we've been to, we gave it a go. But Sunday, I didn't feel that. And I think that's what disappoints me.
No, we didn't look to cause them problems.
Just a couple of things. I read a fact out to you guys before we came on air. It's the first time that Luton Town have had 4 consecutive matches against previous European Cup winners, which is an amazing stat, really, isn't it? Forest, Villa, Liverpool, Man United. I think we can get 6 points out of the next 2. However, I'm being optimistic. Why not? And it's our worst start ever to a season across the top 4 tiers, but nothing more than we probably expected.
No, and I think we have left some points out on the pitch. I think there's maybe 3 occasions where we could have got more from the game or something from a game. So, you know, the points isn't a problem at the moment.
There's still a way to go, and you know the ones we've got to win is that mini league we keep talking about, with Everton winning at the weekend. Bournemouth Burnley, that game could have been different.
Should have been probably.
But for a VAR decision, it would have been 2-2.
I believe it was 7 minutes to make that decision as well.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
You know, and then I was talking to a Bournemouth podcaster, and he was saying, you know, you're sitting there, and obviously he's grateful for that, but even the Bournemouth fans were saying, you know, VAR's rubbish. You know, you're in that, and we say this every week. You're in that stadium. You paid your money. You should see what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, forget the television audiences. Think about the people that go every week. They deserve to see what you're looking at. And you're not looking at it for 2 minutes. You're looking at it for 6.5 minutes. That's outrageous.
And when I was driving up here tonight to do this recording, there was a bit on the radio, and they interviewed one of the head guys at FIFA that looks over the rules and that, and it was put to him, should the fans be able to hear the conversations? And he said, no, absolutely not, because the referees have to be protected.
Protected from what, though?
Exactly.
Protected from making a crap
So
decision.
they're really, really, really awful at making a decision, which, let's face it, most of them are. And because we know what the officiating is like in any league, but the Premier League, you think it'd be a lot better, but it's not. But why can't you hear it? Because you can hear it in rugby.
Yeah, that's right. We had this conversation a few weeks ago in rugby, and there was the hideous balls up that they made with that Liverpool goal against Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
The rugby referee tells the VAR people what he's asking them to look at. He gives his impression of what's happened, then asks for clarification. Whereas in football, it's just, I'll have a look at this, will you? See if there's anything going on. And it's wrong. You know, the VAR people probably need guidance, and the fans should be privy to, maybe not the sound of it, but, something on the board. This is what we're looking for, and this, some sort of update.
Just while we're talking about VAR, then let's have a little bit more of a discussion on it. When you think about VAR, the problem I have with it, apart from all the things I already said, and I've said it every time we talked about it, is exactly that, Steve. The referee could miss something, clear and obvious errors, and then he gets a word in his ear. Oh, you missed this. Go and have a look at this. I see this as a penalty. What do you think?
Yeah.
He shouldn't be saying that. He should be going over to that screen and they go, have a look at this. Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
All right. And I also think I get clear and obvious errors. But what is clear and obvious? Because sometimes it isn't and sometimes it is. Look at the penalty at the weekend that Newcastle got.
Didn't see it. Great.
I did see it, but the screen I was watching unfortunately was a bit...
Well, in my view, I don't know how VAR didn't overturn it.
Right.
In my view. But...
Did he give the penalty originally?
He gave the pen, yeah.
And then they checked it on VAR after? It was what that was.
They checked the VAR and it was upheld. It was a pen.
Yeah.
It's too inconsistent. And I know we said this before. It's too inconsistent. They literally ignore the fans in the stadium, which, even that aside, it's too inconsistent.
Yeah.
And you're right, Steve. The referee should be saying, I just want you to check this, check the offside. They shouldn't just jump in.
No.
They shouldn't jump in and go, oh, you missed that. Oh, you missed that. Or possible handball, possible corner, or a penalty. They don't do corners, do they?
Yeah, because but in rugby, the referee is still clearly in charge, and he goes to the VAR people and say, right, I've given this decision. I want you to look at this and make sure that is indeed the case.
At the very least.
Yeah, clear guidance to what he's expecting them to be looking at.
At the very least, when they are looking at an offside thing, and if it's taking 6.5 minutes, well, it's not clear and it's not bloody obvious.
Yes,
is it?
exactly.
There should be a 30-second window. I always say the same thing. 30-second window. If you can't come to a decision, stick with your original.
So they put it up on... But at Luton, even though I wouldn't see the bloody screen from where it is, but they put it up on the screen. You can see the check happening may help you understand the decision more. And I think that's it. And we all know, you celebrate a goal, then you wait.
Do you know what? Honestly, I said this to a few people at the weekend. I said it to you guys, I think, a few times as well. What I would like to see is a challenge system. So in each half, you're entitled to a challenge or two. A bit like in tennis. And you can call it if you want. and you can challenge it after the ball's gone out of play. That's what I would like to see when it comes to a goal.
To be fair, I think
I
don't think that can work in football.
What do you mean? How?
Because I think the football's a fast-flowing game in that respect. When are you going to do that?
But if the goal's scored and you think, hang on, there's something not right in that.
Just a goal,
and
though. What about a foul? What about a red card? What about everything else? How many times are you going to do that?
I mean, every goal is reviewed anyway in the Premier League, isn't it?
All right, then, fine. If every goal's reviewed, keep that the same then, and then just keep the system where you can review like maybe once in each half per team, and like something's happened.
How about we just go back to football like it used to be?
Oh, I'd love that. But VAR is not working.
Jump us to a goalpost.
Yeah.
Okay, look. If you've got any comments about VAR, please do leave them in the comment section below, and maybe we'll do another talk about VAR in the future. It's never going to go away; it's here to stay. But and it's probably going to get filtered down to the next leagues soon enough because there's far too much at stake. And it's just far too much money at stake, and that's what it is. And we've got ourselves caught up in it delightfully, which is a good thing, but.
I keep saying, I'm going to say it again, VAR has killed football. And do you know what? I'm really starting to not enjoy football now because of it. Genuinely, there you go. I still enjoy watching my team. I love Luton. I watch them every week, of course. I will continue to do that. But I do not enjoy VAR in football. And I mean, in Europe, like elsewhere in Europe, it works a lot better than what we have in this country. Maybe we need to take tips from Spain or Germany or something.
Listen, you've only got to look.
Right.
This is the last word on it, right? But you've only got to look at... the Sky, when they go back with whoever the referee is, whose name I can't remember, and he looks at the Newcastle thing, I can see why it was given, but it's not a penalty. Yeah. Well, what's that mean?
Yeah.
That's pathetic. You're on VAR. I can see why it's given. I can see why the referee gave it, so he's supporting his mate on the field.
He's sitting there, isn't he? Yeah, sitting on the fence a bit.
It was not a penalty. Well, then... in which case it shouldn't have been given, and so it's a game of opinions. VAR is here to stay. You've got to love it or hate it. It's not going to change. Oh, that was a bit of a rant, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Let's talk about Gabe Osho real quickly because we don't want to run over time. He was back in the team against Aston Villa at the weekend. He played 57 minutes. I think he did all right. I wasn't expecting him to start. What do you make of his return, Steve?
I felt really sorry for him. What a baptism of fire that is, against the informed team where there's pace all over the pitch. I did expect him to start, mainly because of availability to others. So I did put that in my predicted starting lineup. He looked rusty. Quite understandably, he's not had a proper pre-season. He had maybe one and a half sort of private games and stuff like that. And then to come in a game at that level, I thought it was really unlucky and unfortunate for him. He tried, he done his absolute best, but you could see he was rusty with his passing, his touch and his positional awareness. We know that he's miles better than that, but you've got to give someone a few games to get back into the groove of things. So no way am I judging him because I think he's a great player, and it was one of those ones you saw his name in the starting lineup, he must have gone really okay.
It's good to see a player come back though, isn't
absolutely
it?
I think we need to get Osho back anyway at some point. Obviously we need to get a load of him back, but no, look, Osho's, he's a warrior. He'll fight for the team. It's what you want. He's got good characteristics about him. He's a good guy. But yeah, like you say, it's like say baptism of fire and whatever. When I see his name on a sheet, I thought, do you know what? Maybe we might actually put someone else in centre half, or maybe change the formation slightly just to give him a little bit more time. And when he started, I thought, you poor man, you poor man against this Villa team as well.
Yeah, because I thought that he would have a start, one because of necessity, but also because he's probably one of the paciest of our defenders.
Yes,
so I that was my sort of thinking behind it. But yeah, I mean, he done well to get up to the hour mark. But yeah that was a tough day for him.
But at the same time, the only positive we've got to take is he's fit now. So let's get him ready because we're going to need to use him in the next two to 3 months because it looks like Mads Anderson's out for 2 to 3 months. Bell's still out as well, isn't he? So yeah.
When Gabe Osho is at his best and fit, is a must start, right, Batara?
Look, I don't know. I don't know about a must start. I'm always about form and who's banging in form. But for me, if you're going to pick a three, let's say three at the back, right?
Go for it.
Burke, Lockyer and Bell for me are the three that I would start.
Any thoughts, Steve?
I think you just put Bataro on the spot then to see him squirm because he just gives a little wry smile. He did while you were. For me,
Thanks, Steve.
Burke would be an automatic starter if he was fully fit and free of injury. Osho would be, but yeah, probably the most important one for me is Amari Bell.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I think he gives so much going forwards as well. He's a real dynamic all-round player, and we're missing him in space.
Massively.
Do you think he's going to start when we play Liverpool at the weekend?
Osho?
Yeah.
I mean, I think so, yeah. I mean, what's the other options we've got?
Injuries are stacking up, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's quite hard.
And similar injuries as well, which probably shows
yeah.
the intensity that they're having to get to.
Am I right in thinking Mengi and Lockyer are the only fit centre-halves other than Osho at the moment?
I think you might be right. And do you know what? I just want to...
Yeah.
So it depends if we play 3 or 2 at the back, though, doesn't it?
I think we glossed over Mengi in the Villa game. I thought he did all right.
Do you know what?
I thought he did all right.
I've been really impressed with him the last few games. I think he looks like an absolute player.
He is going to be a player that's going to develop
He's
more
a
and
strong
more.
boy as well.
Yeah,
how old is he? 21?
Yeah, he's only a young lad. Just say he did get done over the top on a couple of occasions.
But he was strong in other areas,
Yeah,
Steve.
he was.
I think I was with a different Steve, not you. Standing next to me.
A pretend Steve.
A pretend Steve, yeah. And I was saying to him that, I looked at him and thought, wow, actually he did all right. So we've got a player there.
Yeah, he certainly never gave up. He's got the right attitude, so I've got no problems with him.
So we asked you guys, what did you make of Osho's return and does he start against Liverpool? Ad says, thrown into a baptism of fire. He wasn't bad at all, was close to stopping the first goal. A fitter Osho would have been quicker to block that. He ended up swapping sides to handle DRB. And he kept him quiet. And it wasn't until he came off that DRB started to cause the problems. Dave says, if you haven't known, you wouldn't have thought it was his first proper game in 5 months. I would say he necessarily stood out. I wouldn't say he necessarily stood out, but far from the worst performer either. Will be interesting to see if he gets considered at right back in the back four at all later in the season.
Right back, yeah. I mean, even holding midfield as well.
Yeah, because I think the jury's still out with Kabore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard said he was swapped to the left to stop DRB, who was running right. DRB then disappeared from the game, which we've missed him. Darren says, with Burke, Anderson, Bell, Potts out, we desperately need him back and fit. He can score the odd goal as well. And Simon says, I think he did well, clearly not 100%, but he was a relief to have him back. So we're all on the same opinion. It's great to see a player come back from injury and put in a decent performance. I think, I mean, there were some facts that producer Jacob written down for us. 10 out of 12 accurate passes, that's 83%. A couple of tackles, a block, and he played 57 minutes. So I think Osho would be delighted himself with his own performance.
And I'll tell you what, them 57 minutes that he played are physical 57 minutes as well. So it's got to be good for him.
Oh yeah, good minutes in the bank.
Yeah. I'm just thankful he didn't pull up or anything. Like just coming back into such an intensive game like that. So yeah.
Hey, we've made TV quite a lot over the Christmas period, haven't we?
Yeah.
And
rather that than Dad's Army.
Well, that's why people think we are, to be honest. So if you haven't watched it, I'm sure you have. You know this already. But Arsenal, Man City, Sheffield United, Chelsea, and Burnley have all been moved for television appearances. But our next television appearance is Super Sunday. I don't think we've ever been on that before either, have we? So that's amazing. So Liverpool, can we get something from that game?
Yes, we can. We can. I want to. I've now got that out of my system about my disappointment at how we set up at home. I'm sure it'd be much different, much more like the Luton that we love and everyone else hates, which makes us love them even more. More intensity, more press. Not more desire. That's not the case, but just a slightly different tactical approach. And yeah, why not? We've had some great games with them down the years at various levels and that.
True.
So let's tuck into them. See what happens. We're going to win at Man United anyway, because I keep saying it.
Oh, I hope you're right. I so hope you're right.
City, I mean, got to beat Arsenal.
Every time you look at the next 5 fixtures in this division, you just go, Oh goodness! Liverpool, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, Brentford, then Arsenal. I just, it's fantastic. I say this every week, don't I? It's fantastic that we're here, but then I look at the fixtures and I go, oh God, it's Liverpool.
Yeah, no, but this is what we wanted. This is what we've fought hard for. This is what the players want. So now let's go out, hopefully with some freedom, see what we can do. If we get a couple of spankings, so be it. But let's do it the Luton way.
Exactly that. And let's do it how Wayne Rooney suggests that we can't play football as well. So
well, do you know what? I have no respect for Wayne Rooney for saying that sort of thing. But, you can't deny that Wayne Rooney was a good player. But you have to say, dear Wayne, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but if you were listening, I can tell you, you're not a very good manager right now. And you won't last long at Birmingham playing the way that you do. But, you've got to give him some kudos because he was a fantastic player.
Brilliant. One of my favourite players growing up as well.
He was, and whilst it isn't his place to have made the comment, he wasn't 100% inaccurate.
To be fair, I didn't have an issue with it.
This is the thing, and I don't really want to finish on a negative, but you're going to make me do that now.
Sorry, that's my fault, isn't it?
It's all the derogatory information that is said about our club. All of the time, it's like they're rubbish. You've got a rubbish ground. You're useless. You're rubbish. It was a crap league last season.
I'm unsure if he actually meant like how he said it. I don't
no,
think
what he said was not every team gets to the Premier League playing like Luton Town. In fact, what he's saying is he don't like the long ball game. And I've said so many times, if we put a ball forward to our striker, it's a long ball. If Manchester City do it, it's a great pass. So
Sean Dyche quote from Sean Dyche as well, wasn't it? Remember, always used to say it.
Yeah,
he always said the same thing.
And it disappoints me. So let's finish on a bit of a high then. So Liverpool, I'm just going to put, I never asked you to do this before we started. What's the score's going to be?
You go first there, you go. It's not like a twat.
1-0. Clean sheet.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I genuinely think we'll get a draw. Well,
Right.
I don't genuinely think that. I just think we're going to get a draw, but...
So you either genuinely think it or you don't think it, which is...
Nah, it's not a genuine thought. It's just that I think we're going to lose personally, but I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Right, I'm going for an amazing 3-1.
Okay.
I've just going for that. I'm not telling you. That's all I'm going for.
That's not good then, is it?
Listen, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. For those guys that come up at Villa Park and said hello, we really greatly appreciate it. Please, if you see us out, come and say hello.
And buy us a beer.
Well, not in Aston Villa, you couldn't.
No. What a nonsense that was. Very quickly.
Oh, you can get a beer in Villa.
No, not from in the upper tier. No,
would have been good for me.
And every pub around the stadium is home only.
Shocking.
Apart from one, £3.50 to get in. Or you go to Tesco's and buy a few cans.
Hang on, what? £3.50 to get in where?
In the pub.
You're joking.
No.
So Taro's now delighted that he missed the game. So there you go.
Oh, that's awful. Wow.
Let's finish there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming over and saying hello. Please leave some comments below if you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll see you all again next week. Thank you.
Take care.